So the first topic is around kind of relating to a subject that we've talked about quite a bit, and that is to do with ChatGPT, and the generation of essays for academia. Even though it's about not the generation of the essays, this one.
Okay.
It's to do with how you spot the essays, how you spot the cheats.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of tools online now from several companies where you can upload stuff and it tells you if you're cheating or not.
Fuck those companies.
Fuck those companies, man.
Why are you bringing people down like
leave
that,
us,
man?
Leave us alone.
Yeah, let the kids have the fucking uni essays, man.
But there's been a research study which basically says that these AI spotters, as they were, are showing bias against non-native English speakers. So, I'll get into the details, right? So, there are lots of tools out there to detect if it's AI or human generated, right?
Yeah.
So these people did a study. I can't remember the name. If you wrote this study and you happen to be watching this, sorry I forgot your name, mate. If you so happen to find
Belly's basically saying there in the notes he took, he didn't note down the names of the people.
Yeah, what I'm implying there is I just didn't think that was an important thing to jot down.
Go ahead. So you're saying
so they took 161 essays, right?
Yeah.
70 were from native English speakers, and 91 were people who where English was the second language, basically Chinese. Chinese people where English is the second language, right? So when they put it through these AI tools online, on average about 5% of the English speaker essays were flagged as cheating.
Yeah.
And 61% of the Chinese
Shut up, lads.
61%.
Hold on, lads. So are these essays generated by ChatGPT?
No, so these are people, these are Chinese students who English is the second language and they've wrote essays in English.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've took the English essays written by Chinese students, submitted them to tools which are supposed to spot...
Identify ChatGPT-like uses.
And basically, it's 61% of those 91 essays have gone, they're ChatGPT generated.
And they weren't?
Well, they're just written by the Chinese students.
That's nuts.
So
the algorithm's super biased.
So basically, when you kind of look into it,
like a broken English maybe style.
Well, it's not even so much broken. It's more that if you
different use of the English language,
it's more common phrases you'll use. So basically, these algorithms work by looking for patterns with the text. So obviously, ChatGPT essentially just works by predict the next word, predicts the next word, predicts the next word.
So people from China are more likely to use patterns which are more common.
Yeah, because
as they're not native speakers.
And you're more likely to use like the standard phrasings for things because that's what...
whereas an English writer will know maybe a little more knows the native tongue a lot more, so therefore can use it in a more creative way.
Yeah.
Like if we were speaking Mandarin, we'd be proper middle of the road
Hello,
stuff.
Sam. How are you today?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's that type of stuff, isn't it?
It's so biased, isn't it?
I know. So basically, they're basically putting this perplexity. So perplexity is a measure of like the probability that of like the certain usage of words, which is what I'm so sick. Because remember the episode I said with Ian, with Ian, and I said basically spotting ChatGPT is just having a map of all the probabilities of the different words, putting them together.
Yeah.
That's all these are doing.
That's what they've done.
I'm in the wrong business, mate. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
So...
Hold on, last week you said you were going to be an actor, weren't you? You were good at drama and that.
Lad, I'm terrible.
You've got many talents.
No, Indian dancing, me, mate.
Yo, you got, lad, I thought you were good at it.
I'm a man of... I'm not anymore, lad. I can't swivel these hips anymore, mate. So basically, these researchers got in touch, all the people from the article, got in touch with these companies and they were like, basically, we know there's limitations.
Yeah.
And we're trying to fix it in future updates. And but there's a guy out of Imperial College London, a researcher there, who basically said these findings aren't... So the counterpoint to that is, okay, so these are Chinese students writing in English. Have they actually wrote them? Because as we know, there's a big market for students writing or getting other people to write.
To write essays.
Yeah, so did they use ChatGPT? We don't know. Or if they got other people to write them for them. So basically this guy was saying there's that. And then also what could happen is international students, such as the Chinese students they took this stuff from, may rely more heavily on grammar correcting softwares. Yeah. But then So
well, that's true, lad.
No,
like,
go on, sorry.
I rely on grammar correcting, but like...
But if you proper
makes
didn't
sense,
know...
start, don't it?
But then, the reason I'm laughing is not because of those, because those are two valid points. But then the researchers have kind of addressed this. Then what they did...
What are you laughing at?
So what they did is they took the 91 Chinese, like the
Students.
English essays written by Chinese students, put them into ChatGPT, and went, rewrite this essay to make it sound more like an English speaker,
Yeah.
And the misclassification rate on the same sample dropped to 10%.
Shut up, lads.
Yeah.
So you can use ChatGPT
to get around
lad, whoever's made this software just needs to start again, man.
Lad, how bad's that?
Yeah.
So then the guy was just... So then there was like a last quote from the research. It was just like... Convenient, that, innit?
Like
so then that kind of indicates that it's not to do with the students at all. It's just... So ChatGPT got a lower misclassification rate. A lower
Chinese students writing in English.
Yeah, got a lower suspicion rate. How bad's that?
But lad, there's a few ways to look at that. The first way is that language is super complex. So it's super hard to roadmap language when we all use it in different ways. The second one is that an AI tool is like, it's scary how intelligent they are, that like it can write an English essay better than a person who can speak English from a different...
But that makes,
to avoid detection.
But that makes sense, though, because this algorithm is predicting the next word because it was trained on English words, but it was trained on, like, the internet of the... So basically, it's been trained on millions and millions and millions and millions of different... So people use the... So is it a corpus or a corpus? The name for like a body of text or whatever.
No, a paragraph.
I can't remember what it's called. Corpus. Anyway.
A fucking book.
And also, they'll correct me on that, and they'll fucking
corpus.
Corpus.
Anyway. Sounds like a fucking monster on RuneScape or something. That's a corpus.
That opened up some doors. That old school RuneScape, just chopping down trees, man, for hours. But yeah, so people, for example, use Wikipedia as like the perfect, because as like for the English language, because it's so vast and it covers everything. In theory, basically every way you can say something's in there.
Yeah.
But then imagine expanding that to the whole internet and like the millions of data points they've got. So it's really good at English. So if you take something which is structured and is perfectly English, but it's common, and then you say to something which in theory has the probabilities of all these good, like the ins and outs of the English language, it's going to improve it, innit?
Yeah, it makes...
Like, type thing.
What happens, like, what would happen if... Imagine if you were that person, lad, who I wrote an essay genuinely and it got flagged as plagiarism, and you were like, I've not... Because there's only so many words and so many combinations
that
of words,
must be...
And just by chance, you've wrote it in a way which feels like... But you are... And it's like...
That
what
must
happens
be...
if you get flagged, man?
That must be horrendous, because how do you prove...
That you have...
that?
you just fucking fail, man.
Yeah, imagine that. So they get you in. So did you use ChatGPT? No. And then that's the evidence. Because you don't have like you might have different draft versions, but then how can a previous draft version be proven that you didn't just put that draft version into ChatGPT and get the fifth version?
So what company was this lad making this?
There's the named two that got back to them. I can't remember their names off the top of the head.
Who made this?
But they tested 4 companies who were doing it at the minute.
So basically, it's sound to test plagiarism on English, on native English writers. It's not sound to test on non-native English writers.
By the sounds of it, yeah.
Unless they're super ingrained in English culture and have learned the nuances.
But then technically, it's not even really good for that, these models, because the 91 they put through, technically all of them were GPT generated.
And then they all come back as...
Yeah. It's crazy.
But I wonder if they only got 10% be a difference between a GPT generated from the scratch.
Oh yeah, it will, because obviously it's like the same thing with different initial conditions generate different
parameters at the start. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
It's so interesting that. As soon as I read that, I was like, that is insane.
It's a bit of a mad topic anyway for me, that one, like the old chasing the software, but other like obviously ChatGPT and other things like it are out the box now, and like then these other companies are going to try and create these counters to it for essays and academia and education. I get it. Like, I get it, because like a kid needs to write their own essay, but at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like there's always going to be issues with it.
But
because the software GPT is always going to carry on getting better. Software's like it, and they're always going to have to carry on chasing it. And there's always going to be these gaps where like this wasn't as good in these 4 months as the software, so you got away with it then.
What I don't understand, is it's for me it's such an open goal business wise from OpenAI for them not to build the counter for ChatGPT.
They know it, more than anyone.
Like, for me, that just seems like such an open goal, because then not only are you selling the product that generates the AI, you're selling to go back from that to that, and they are surely best placed.
They know more than anyone else to counter it. Yeah,
they because they know the ins and outs of the model and how it works. So they surely.
Well, the reason why, Ben,
and then sorry to cut you off. Then surely that's a brilliant PR stunt, because obviously that company can't let what goes on in that model out, because that's their whole business.
Yeah, well, it was meant to originally at the start. It was an open source company.
Yeah, but as soon as you get something as good as that, you're not letting that go.
Yeah.
But then if you keep it closed, but then you release fucking the counter and it works, well, you've just gone, look, we're a business, so we can't keep, like, we need to make money. But also, so if something's generated by us, we'll be able to tell you it was generated by us.
I think
it's crazy.
They might still, it's early doors. Maybe they will.
To me, that seems like an open goal to
maybe they won't, because maybe the money isn't in that one, lad. Maybe, general ChatGPT that produces essays, music, whatever it produces, is more, is more profitable than a niche essay counter or like a plagiarism counter where only 10% of people would use that.
But the 10% of people that use it are universities, and they pay big money.
OpenAI terms, it'd still be big money.
But even still,
do you know what I mean?
But then it's money because people will buy it, and I think the winner is the publicity. So if you turn around and go, look, this AI isn't some self-generated thing with its own thought. We built it, and we can counter it. There you go. Everyone chill out. It's fucking
whose company would you rather trust? Ryan's AI company that didn't make ChatGPT, and he's trying to counter ChatGPT, or us who made ChatGPT and we can counter our own?
That's kind of
like, who knows how to counter attack your team the best? You.
Yeah.
Because you know what your team's about. You know what I mean? You know how you use attack. So the best, if anyone's got the info, it's you and your manager.
To me, that just seems such an open and easy thing.
Totally.
For them to do.